There have been a number of recent improvements to Microsoft Teams that make it more user-friendly for teachers to use in the classroom, and we're going to look at 4 of them today. First one is your ability to set students to attendees rather than presenters before the meeting even starts. Second is the ability to essentially have breakout rooms like Zoom, having multiple meetings going on simultaneously. And the third is being able to download attendance, and this will show when students joined and left your meeting. And finally, the ability to press an end meeting button that kicks everybody out and does not allow them in. So when you press end meeting, it literally ends the meeting once and for all. So we're going to get started in this team right here. Notice I am in the general tab. Every team starts with a general tab, and we're going to be adding a couple tabs soon. But first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to go up here to meet, and we're going to start a meeting. I'm going to go ahead and choose meet now, and then I'll change my background so you don't have to look at my basement. And this will also help us keep track of which room we're in because we're about to be in multiple rooms. So there's my background setting. And the first thing we need to do is to click to show participants. Under show participants, we now have 2 icons here. This one is to download the attendee list, and this one is to manage permissions. So we're going to click to manage permissions, which opens online. And as you can see, you have the option for who can bypass the lobby. Now your choices are everyone, only people in my organization, or trusted organizations, or people in my organization. So this one's not going to help with all of your students being in your organization. So the bypassing the lobby, we're still hoping that that's going to be a feature coming soon where we can make students wait in the lobby before we start. Now for callers, you can determine whether or not they can bypass the lobby, but that's just people calling on phones. Here's the reason that we came here. Who can present? By default, Teams is set up for transparency and collaboration and cooperation, so everybody comes in as a presenter, but we want to start with only me. Otherwise, as students come in, they'll all come in as presenters, and you'll have to manually change them each to attendees. So this way, they all come in as attendees, and if for some reason you want to have somebody share their screen during the meeting, you can change their individual permissions at that time and then change them back when they're done. And now we have it set up so that students will come into the meeting as attendees. All right, so this is, again, in the general meeting. So there are a few different ways to use Teams. Right now, this is just a Teams meeting, and I can invite people just to the Teams meeting without actually inviting them to the team. But what we want to do is use this with students, so I do want them being part of the team as well. The other features of Teams are over here. We call this the Me space. So you can click on anything here and get to your other tools within Teams. So I'm going to click on the Teams icon, and instantly my meeting is now minimized into this corner. So I'm still in the meeting, I'm still active in the meeting's still going on, but it's just in the corner while I do other things. And the first other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another channel. And this channel is going to be open to everybody in the class, so we're going to just call it public. That's just what I'm naming the channel. It's a public channel. Here I am in the public channel, and start another meeting. So now when I click Meet Now, something just changed about my meeting up in the top corner. First of all, it tells me that that one is in the general channel, and it's now on hold. Well, I'm on hold. If there's other people in the meeting, they're still carrying on with their meeting, but I am on hold, and I'm now active in this meeting. And this is the way you get to that People tab. So if you don't have it open, just click here to show participants. And as you can see, I still have those same options. And if I go into Manage Permissions, it's all the same choices. So now I am in 2 different meetings. Just one of them is on hold. So I'm going to go ahead over to start another meeting. Remember, the way I do that is to click on Teams. Now this one will also be minimized. So I have them stacked here. I have my general channel meeting that I'm on hold in, and my public channel meeting that I'm still actively involved in. And I'm going to create another channel, and this time I will label it as a private channel. Simply add channel, and this time I'm going to check here to make it private. And we'll clearly label that private channel. So private channels are only viewable to the people you enter here. So you have to already be a member of the team to be added here. So if you're a member of a team, you're eligible to be added to a private channel. There's no join code for private channels. You assign who's in there. So the use case here is if I have students in small groups, then I can put them in private channels so nobody else can see what's going on with their small group work. And that way, when I create a meeting within a private channel, only the members of that channel can attend that meeting. So here we are in our private channel. I'm going to click Meet. And now I have 2 meetings on hold and a third meeting right here. So there are almost 24 different backgrounds besides the blur that Microsoft has now included. These 2 are from, I work for a company called I2E. We did an online conference called Inspire, so we were able to share those images with each other, and then I could load it to this device. I have another video that shows you how to do that. And the rest of these are just backgrounds that I loaded actually to use for making comic strips and storyboards in PowerPoint, and just loaded them all together. And finally, there is the computer lab at the building that I work in. So we're actually going to grab one of those. It is important to note that when you see the image backwards here, that's just your view. People on the other end of the camera will see it right ways. So if you go and fix that so it looks right to you, it's going to look backwards to everybody on the other end of the meeting. In this recording, you're seeing my screen recording, so it's going to continue to look backwards. Once again, we will click on Show Participants, and you will see that you have all the same options. This is important because private channels don't always have all the same features as public channels, but in this case, it does have all of the meeting options in common with the general channel and the public channel. So here I am in a third channel, and the use case here, again, is if you have students broken up into small groups, you'll have a private channel for each of those small groups. Now, I can bounce between meetings by clicking the play button. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it takes a second or 2 to get in. Okay, it's working instant today. That's good. So the idea here is you start each of these meetings in each of these channels. You control when the meeting ends. You control who can be in them. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, that's great that I can start 6 different meetings and I can bounce between them, but my students will behave while I'm in the meeting, but I can't trust them to behave when I'm not in the meeting. One possible solution for that is in each of your meetings, you can click on the ellipses and start a recording. So you can record each of those meetings, and it will record what goes on when you're not there as well. So what happens to these recordings? Well, 2 things. One, they will all be saved to Stream. So it warns everybody up here that you're now being recorded. It will save to Stream. If you're not familiar with Stream, it's a video curation feature within Office 365. So your organization, in this case my school district, has its own stream. The maximum you can share anything within Stream is within your district. You have to be logged into your organization in order to see a stream video. So this isn't a place to put videos we're going to share with parents or the community. You can make it more restrictive than that. So you can go into Stream and change permissions to anything from private, where only you can see it, to anybody in your district can see it. The other thing that will happen is once it's done processing in Stream, then a link will be posted in this channel under the conversations, under the posts tab. That way anybody in the team, if it's a general or public channel, or anybody in that small group who's a member of that channel will be able to see it. Now you can go in and delete that if there's no reason for your students to go back to it, if you're only using it for accountability. But if you think that there's a reason your students might want to go back and watch those videos again, if it's beneficial, then you can leave them in that channel. So in my district, we have a policy where we're not allowed to record meetings that students are participating in. So if that's your case, then this wouldn't be an option for you. But if that's not against your policy, then that's one way to make sure the students are behaving when you're not actively in their meeting. So I am going to click on the private meeting, and I'm going to show you how to end this. Again, lots of good things under the ellipses. Anytime you see ellipses or more, go ahead and click on it. There's usually good features there. You have the ability to end the meeting. And when I click on this, it will tell me this will end the meeting for everyone. Okay, this means that when you end the meeting, students can't hang in the meeting after you unsupervised. I will rejoin this one. Once again, I'm going to click to end this meeting. Last piece I need to show you before we close this meeting, though, is I'm going to go to Show Participants, and we have this other icon right here. Allows you to download the attendance. You can see it was now downloaded. I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and you'll see that there is one item listed in this Excel spreadsheet. That is me joining the meeting. So I have one that I launched with my son a few days ago. So we'll pull that one up so you can at least see it shows who joined, what time they joined, and what time they left. So you'll notice that I only pulled him in for 2 seconds. Not only shows when they joined the meeting, but also when they left. Now it's important that you do this before you end the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting and show you what happens if you don't remember. It does end it for everyone. So now my meeting has ended. Since this was not one that I had scheduled, there was no post here saying to join. I just created it right here. So I will show you a meeting that I ran actually with my Sunday school yesterday. If you click on replies, I can at least see who had joined. These are all people who were not members of the team, so they all show up as guests. But if this was a meeting within your class team, then this would show who all of the participants are. Just wouldn't show when they joined or how long they stayed on. But if I try and restart this meeting, still got the same link, but if I rejoin now and go back up and try and see the attendance, you'll see it's only going to download who's currently in here now. It's not going to show me who joined it yesterday. So you do have to take advantage of this before you end the meeting. 4 things that we went over today were the ability to make students enter your meetings as attendees, so you don't have to switch them from presenters and having all the rights of a presenter to attendees. The rights of a presenter include being able to share their screen, takes away their right to mute the teacher or other people. We also looked at using multiple meetings. Now, this is very similar to what Zoom does in terms of breakout rooms, but keep in mind with Zoom, that's just a meeting. It doesn't do anything else that Teams does. So the advantage here is you have a permanent small group. Well, it doesn't have to be permanent, but it's as permanent as you need it to be. If students are working on a project, they have shared files area, they have shared conversation space, they can do everything that they need to do for their project. If you've never looked at Planner in Microsoft Office, Planner is built into Teams, so they can assign tasks to one another. They can do their whole project in that channel. So this ability to meet together is just one small piece of that. So it's a lot better than just a breakout room. It's a persevering small group. So you've got multiple meetings that can go on. You can bounce in between them. If it's okay with your organization, you can record those meetings for accountability for your students. You can download an attendance list that shows exact times that students come in and leave your meeting. And finally, you have the ability to end your meeting for everyone so students can't stay in there unsupervised. So I hope you have learned a lot from this video, and I hope that you and your students will benefit from these updates to Teams. Don't forget to click down below to subscribe, where you'll also find links to my book, all the Microsoft tools you need to transform your classroom, as well as a link to my blog, theotherit.com.